extended its lead to 1 minute and 3 seconds.
Now you're gone. They linger on these memories. Oh, these precious memories. Memories of you.
Crowds lining the street and traffic at a standstill are not unusual in rallying terms as spectators jostle for position to see Bertie Fisher pass by. Tonight we pay tribute not only to a sporting hero, but the phenomenon that was the Fisher family. We remember Bertie and also 2 of his children, Mark and Emma. Our thoughts and prayers are with his wife Gladys and his son Roy. Throughout the year, RPM brings you excitement and joy. Tonight that joy is reflected as we pay tribute to the contribution the Fisher family has made to society.
You remember me when the west wind moves among the fields of barley. You can tell the sun in his jealous sky when we walked in fields of gold.
The respect I had for Bertie over the years and the competition, and on numerous occasions we'd win some events and he'd win some events, but there was never a bad word spoken between us, and always at the end of the evening or after the event we would be the best of friends. Rallying will never be the same for me. Bertie was my motivator, was spurring me on so many occasions. It will not be the same, not now, not ever. God bless you, my friends, Bertie, Mark and Emma. May you rest in peace, and you're never forgotten in our prayers.
Bertie was often given the title King Fisher. If Bertie was the king, Mark was the pretender to the throne. I cannot remember meeting Mark when there wasn't a smile on his face. He was at home in any company, with any age group. He enjoyed life to the absolute full. And inside and outside this little church are just a portion of the thousands and thousands of enthusiasts who've lined the ditches over the years. All we can say now to Bertie and Mark is thanks for the entertainment.
To Emma's friends, Emma was simply Fish. She was known as Fish by us all, and she made us smile. Fish was someone special, someone absolutely unique, someone who loved us, loved her family, and was loved by everyone who knew her. Bertie and Mark were the best when it came to sitting behind the wheel of a car, but Emma was the best when it came to friendship. Emma got her hands dirty. Emma went to India, worked with lepers. Many of us wouldn't even think of doing that. But Emma went out there and did it for Jesus.
We'll walk in fields of gold. We'll walk in fields of gold.
We now look back on the rallying careers of Bertie and Mark Fisher, who achieved their successes through the highest standards of sportsmanship.
Go! And left. 150, right. 100, left max, don't cut. And very fast right, don't cut. Fast left, don't cut. Fast right minus. Fast left minus, don't cut. Left and long right max, tightens to fast right. Fast right. Left over crest. 50, very fast left. and right max, easy right, 100, turn fast right minus at bridge.
And Rory.
You might think you were well enough known until you go out with Bertie Fisher. Then you realise that you weren't known at all. And he was a man who shook hands, winked at people, hugged people, knew them by name, gave time to people. He was a man who gave himself to people quietly. Then he just moved quietly and nobody knew that he was ever a hero. He didn't see himself as a hero at all, but he saw himself as an ordinary Fermanagh man who could do something fantastic.
Very fast left, don't cut. Easy right, and long left backs. Slight right, long left max, don't cut.
Probably met Bertie in 1970 or 71. The first job we did for him would have been 75. And that's what, 26 years. The setup with ProDrive was that the cars, really the engines and transmissions had to be serviced at ProDrive. If the car ran well, ProDrive got the credit. If the car gave problems, we got the blame.
Fisher, who must win, is being cautious, but not here. He's lying fourth.
Bertie Fisher in the Toughmac BMW has nothing to lose, so it's maximum attack. Now Fisher's only worry is the Russian, who is only half a minute behind.
You know, we came here not really in with a very big chance of winning the championship. We came here to really try and win the rally and just see what happened to Austin. And obviously he's had a problem. We've won the rally and the championship, and it is really fantastic now. Yeah.
Bertie's timekeeping was diabolical. You had to give him half an hour, you had to tell him it was half an hour before to get him, any chance of getting him there in time, but it got to the stage like even half an hour wouldn't have been enough. But there was always a reason. I mean, he was so involved in everything, took an interest in everything that you couldn't fault him for it, but we got to know how to live with it. Sam was used at the start, you know, everybody was Sam just for, if you didn't know somebody, you just called him Sam. But then somebody decided that Sam was too agricultural, really, I suppose the word. So then Pete was invented and everybody was called Pete, Big Pete, Wee Pete. And then it went to Harry and George, and in fact that's the way it finished up. I mean, when he ragged me now, he called me Harry and I called him George. Why, I don't know.
Right over crest, 100 easy left, 50 crest, 30 turn square left, and left, 100, crest.
Bertie is now on maximum attack. He will take 15 seconds out of McKinstry here to go into the lead.
Back in Letterkenny, the band plays for Bertie Fisher and the local man, Rory Kennedy. It's all over bar the shouting as Bertie and Rory get a tumultuous reception as the winners of the 21st Shell and Leonard Donegal International Rally.
He came one day to ProDrive and we got to meet him there, and we finally got him into an M3 and then onto Subarus after that. So it was a sort of, he was, unlike the other customers though, you know, lots of people come through our place and they take the cars away, but he became part of the family. And I noticed just looking around today, I was surprised how many of our mechanics have come across here this day, and lots of people just wandered off their own volition, just got on the ferry, wanted to be here. He just ordered a new car for this year as well, so it's a great irony that. But no, I often wondered, and I asked him last year when I came over here for the Summit Rally he was organising, you know, how much longer, but I'll still keep going. Well, I can keep ahead of these youngsters.
Bertie Fisher from Fermanagh is another driver looking for his first victory. But Vincent Bonner, he's a past winner. And on stage one, Coleman and Morgan seem to be going well, with the BMW sounding much better than it did on the circuit of Ireland. Shattered by the roar of Bertie Fisher's lightweight Manta as it continues to dominate all the opposition.
He was about as opposite to myself in ways. I mean, Bertie was highly organised. I would have good intentions of doing that sort of thing, but I would never get to do it, if you know what I mean. But Bertie delivered. And I must say I had the privilege of being here last May for the charity evening at Fisher Engineering. And quite frankly, until then, I had often passed through Ballinamallard in the old rally days, and I mean, they always had a fine business, but I had no idea what it had, the colossus it had grown into.
And every one of the fans appreciated another stunning performance from the man who retired from the sport last year.
Fisher Engineering, under his managing directorship and the support that he got from his brothers in the business, has developed incredibly over the years. A very, very much family-run business. They have 180 employees, and he would know every employee by their Christian name, and they would know him and refer to him as Bertie. Now, there can't be many businesses of that nature where that relationship exists.
The Irish Greyhound Board, who have just built a new £11 million stadium in Cork, acquired the services of Fisher Engineering to do all of the steel work. So good were the plum that in actual fact, when Bertie's company had a look at the plans, they devised a system whereby they could actually put in a better stand and save the Irish Greyhound Board $250,000. That's the integrity that you were dealing with when you were dealing with the likes of Bertie Fisher.
Fisher and Kennedy in the Toughmac Subaru are not overconfident, as their record in Cork hasn't been good. Austin McHale, who follows Frank Marr off the line, has won the Cork 20 on 3 previous occasions.
Fisher has definitely been shopping at ProDrive, and the car really sounds sharp.
We never had a bad word for one another. Maybe some of the press would blow things out of proportion. That was their job to do. But me personally, never felt anything. I never went to sleep any night after an event feeling that Bertie Fisher had done anything wrong. And that has made this whole weekend so sad that young Mark and Emma's gone as well. He was definitely going to make it. He had, you know, it was the same as the chip off the old block. He had the same outlook on life, and he had you'd swear at times you were talking to Bertie, and you know, he was definitely going to make it. And if he wanted to go into a world championship, the facilities were there, he had the business to back him up, and he had the talent, which was most important.
Take so long and they go so fast, and I let time.
I knew Mark through school. You know, I think really things progressed from there. Obviously, both of us went and done the same championship over in England with the Nissans, and I think our friendship grew quite strong at that point. I certainly wouldn't have given Mark an inch in the head. I don't think he'd have given me an inch either, you know. But I really enjoyed it, and as I say, we'd certainly got a healthy respect for each other.
And I thought about years.
Everywhere we went, on the lake, on the sea, on the slopes, like Mark had to be one step ahead. Like, he was one of them guys that just anything he done, number one was his goal.
He had a lot of dreams and ambitions and so on, but the thing was that Mark was probably more able than anyone to actually achieve so many of those dreams and things, and he had made a fair, strong step towards achieving many of his dreams by signing this latest deal with Peugeot. The one thing that everybody remembers of Mark is his wiry grin or cheeky smile, or whatever. He was always happy and in life and work and everything that he did. And then that then bounced off everyone around him, that it made you work in a very happy atmosphere, and you always are very much at ease with him.
How they take so long and they go so fast, and I let time go by.
He came to me with his first car, his very first rally car. I remember us going out in the car and sort of sitting. Mark, no matter what he'd done, he always had to have the whole thing sorted, like from top to bottom. No matter what was the problem, Mark would always say, we've got to get an angle on this. There must be an angle on it somewhere. And that was always Mark. And I remember, you know, Bertie was probably just the same, but Mark was maybe just trying to be that bit better.
He's just always been the same from the first time I knew him, just cheeky and chirpy and with a grin and that twinkle that always showed you a bit of mischievousness behind it, and you were never sure if it was directed at you or otherwise, but you always knew it was going to be fun. And everyone who met him knew that, just saw him as a lovely, lovely person. And in Bertie too, I just got to know him over the last few months properly, and just a great character, both of them. Ambassadors for sport, ambassadors for life itself.
Fisher in the Alamac Manta just cannot shake off his great rival, and his lead could evaporate with a simple puncture. With this kind of pressure from behind, Bertie is really trying.
I think it was sometime after the Shell Manta that we got into serious sponsorship with him. And I often was asked by my accountants as to how I could justify this money. And the business today proves the justification of it. He helped me build my business big time. He was an ambassador for sport, business, and anything else that you can think of. And there'll never be anyone will ever fill his shoes, or Mark's either, because Mark was his ditto. And Emma, she was a bundle of joy, and it's not the first time I seen her telling her daddy to wise up and catch himself on. And they were just an exceptional family, and the whole family were exceptional.
Bertie Fisher openly admits that after a quarter of century of rallying, it is difficult to find the motivation. But the prospect of an AA Circuit of Ireland win, the big prize missing from his trophy cabinet, has fired him to greater heights this weekend.
Fisher's lead has slightly decreased today, but only by seconds. But one puncture could see that 2-minute advantage quickly evaporate. Bertie Fisher has been trying for 21 years to take this victory. He led the event. He's been second on a number of occasions, but Ireland's biggest rally prize has always eluded him. Now he and Rory Kennedy head for the Champagne in an Easter weekend which they've totally dominated.
Yeah, 3 tarmac championships, a lot of Circuit of Ireland's, but we've never managed to win one until now. And you know, I wonder sometimes if it's ever going to happen. But good, you know.
This is fabulous fun. It's something I've dreamed of for a long number of years now, and 10 years ago I never thought it was possible, but you know, kind of kept it all together this weekend, and first class job here by Bertie, you know, and we're just so delighted. Like, it's a very important rally to win, and we're just absolutely delighted at the moment. Bertie and I started together in 1989 on the Donegal Rally. We did one rally before that in 87, but we set out as a partnership in 1989. And right away we were second and third place on rallies right away, you know, and I felt that there was a very good blend there to begin with. In the early 90s, and particularly the Ulster Rally in 1991, which we won, was the first, you know, it was the first event that I remember and stands out in my mind that,
you know, we could win more of these rallies, like, and this man, there's no stopping him once he gets going and things start going right. And really from that time on, from 92 on, like, it's fair to say, and I'm sure every competitor in Ireland will say that, like, Bertie was the man to beat, like, and we had some fantastic victories during that time. The Ulster Rally every year was always the party piece as such, like, and also the Manx Rally, which in 1990 we were there with the BMW, and we led the rally from start almost to the finish, where we unfortunately got a puncture towards the end on the third or fourth last stage, and we ended up second. Like, it was our highest high and lowest low all in one rally, like, and we were absolutely devastated. The most favourite car was the blue Subaru Impreza FEL 555, and really that's where all the success. That's when all the success came, when we had that car.
Fisher, with Rory Kennedy in the notes, is fired up in the tarmac Subaru. Fastest in Bangor Castle, and it's hard to believe that anyone can go quicker than this over the South Armagh side roads. But someone is. Bertie is 6 seconds down after 4 stages. Now here's one to watch. Armagh man Andrew Nesbitt may only need James O'Brien's instructions as a reminder on the first day, as the organisers have kindly placed the Good Friday loop of 6 stages in Andrew's homeland. Once he gets into Armagh, he flies. 4 seconds up on stage 2, 5 on stage 3. He's checked back by Fisher on stage 4, but he leads the rally by 6 seconds into Newry. Never has so much been provided by so few for the enjoyment of so many. This is classic rallying, with 2 great drivers right at their limits.
But sadly, the anticipated shootout is over almost before it has begun. The Cuisine de France car clips a rock on the Bucks Head stage and drops 37 seconds to the Tarmac car. It's all over, bar the champagne.
It was a great race. It was one of the toughest battles I certainly was ever in. And at the end of the day, we both went to the bar and had a few beer and a meal together, and that's what it's all about. When he brought the competitive machinery, it meant that everyone on the island of Ireland and Fortherfield had to lift their game. They had to go and find sponsors and find the good machinery to try and race him. And as you know, for many years that was happening, but that's why Irish rallying is what it is today.
The motorsport and business worlds have gathered here today to pay tribute to the Fisher family, who have contributed so much to the community and to sport. While this may be the end of the Fisher era in the stages, the legacy that Bertie and Mark have given to the sport will live on.
We started the stage on the Ulster Rally, just right there at the cemetery beside the graveyard there. And it was very poignant when I was carrying the coffin, because the last time he and I were there, of course, we were in the rally car, and we went on to win the Ulster Rally that time. So I gave a wee tap on the coffin, so I'm sure he thought too.